Stats and Analysis Wednesday, February 26th, guys. Georgia Southern +3 yesterday, outright winner. We bought up a little bit to get a for sure win, guys. A small win, but a big win nonetheless. We jab. Today we jab again, and tomorrow we take a big upper hook, and we start building off that, guys. Now today, ready to rock, guys. Already ran my 5 miles. Here's the proof. Going to start working out every single day before these videos, and I'm ready to lock in and give you guys another winner. Now, before I start off today's show, guys, very important news. First and foremost, guys, next week you will start getting videos regarding certain aspects that you guys are struggling with, which I made a video about last week or 2 weeks ago, and you guys left a bunch of comments. I'm going to start attacking that so I can help you guys see this for what it is, guys. At the end of the day, this is an investment. A long-term investment, just like the stock market, just like crypto, just like real estate, right? Right now, we're seeing it. Crypto's going down. Probably is going to go down a lot more. The stock market all-time highs, you're starting to see it crumble a little bit as well. Friday was the biggest loss of 2025. What do you do in those situations? Do you sell and cry and victimize, or do you hold long-term and think like an investor, like the 1%? It's tough to think like the 1% and act like the 1% because it's part of being the 1%, which is tough, right? But I'm going to start doing that for you guys. And secondly, guys, most importantly, is the fact that next week, you'll have the first week where I'm going to show you guys exactly my routine, my habits, what I do every single day, and how I'm going to turn this year around, which is going to be great. Now, with that said, guys, if you guys are growing, learning, winning, which you won yesterday, share the show with a couple of buddies that do the same thing. And let's get right to it, guys. We got 2 games to cover, 2 key games to cover. And the first one is the one that stands out quite a bit for most of us. It's Michigan State versus Maryland, guys. Sign opened up at 3.5 in favor of Maryland, and it's now at 4.5, depending on the books. Money and support, it's looking like sharper action as of now for Maryland. 36% of the bets on the spread, 57% of the handle, more cash, which is sharper investors, people like me that bet thousands, not a couple $100 like the casual bettors. And on the money line, they got 38% of the bets and 42% of the handle. Michigan is attracting a little bit more of the public side, more of the bets, but not the money, and something to factor in. This line already pushed up to 4.5, which is quite telling, guys. Now let's break this game down a little bit. First and foremost, Maryland 16-1 at home. This team has been lights out at home this season, and they've been a great team altogether. Michigan State 5-2 away, and Michigan State has been cruising, guys. They've won 3 in a row, 2 of them away against primetime teams. Illinois in the last one versus Michigan, giving Michigan their first loss at home this season, guys. Maryland on the flip side also cruising, but they have not been playing the same teams. Strength of schedule definitely favors Michigan State quite a bit in this situation. Now 16-1 at home, the line is quite telling. And along with that too, guys, let's look at the stats that matter. Over the last 3 games, Maryland leads in the offensive stats, guys. In the offensive, they lead in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, and along with that too, they do lead in defensive rebounding. Now, Michigan State is leading in generating and protecting turnovers, and that's a key stat that matters in this situation, guys, and we're going to have to factor that in. Right now, for me, guys, this game, personally speaking, I do like Maryland. Now, I think 4.5, 5, I wouldn't take it at that point. I think that's a little bit too many points against a Michigan State team that has proven they can win on the road, especially over the last 3. But I do like him at a little bit lower, -3, -2.5. I'd bite the juice, guys. But if it gets a little bit higher, closer to game time, I personally will stay away from this game altogether. Michigan State's rolling really well, and we want to be a little bit careful facing a team that's hot. Now, the game that I really like for today is one that doesn't stand out. One that's not on anybody's radar, but it's on mine. And it's Temple versus South Florida, USF, guys. This line opened up at -2.5 in favor of Temple, which they are home. And since then, it's crumbled down a little bit to +2. +1.5 for USF. Now, there's lopsided action going to Temple right now, guys. Lopsided action. 75% of the bets and 86% of the handle on the spread. On the money line, 74% of the bets and 66% of the handle. Yet the line is pushing down, guys. You're seeing a little bit of reverse line movement in this situation, guys. Now, let's break down this game and see who's leading and who's not in certain categories, guys. First and foremost, let's talk about the last 3 games. The last 3 games, USF won them. Along with that, they played February 6th. USF won at home in overtime. A close game, but they did end up winning that game. And that was the game that started the losing streak for Temple. Ever since that game in February 6th, Temple has lost 6 in a row. And against not the best opponents either, guys. They faced good opponents and bad opponents, but there's some games that they should not have lost that they did lose outright, guys. They did lose outright. One again, Tulsa, 8.5-point favorite. They lost by 6. These guys are not clicking right now. South Florida, it's not like they're great right now either, but they are 2-4 over the last 6. They did pick up that W against Temple. And last game out against North Texas, which was Saturday, it was a game that I was analyzing. And there was reverse line movement in that game. USF came back pretty much in the second half and almost covered, and at the end, they didn't end up covering, but they played this team really well, North Texas. And North Texas is one of their best teams in that conference, guys. Now, let's look at the stats that matter for this game, guys. South Florida, right now, over the last 3, they've had a way tougher strength of schedule. So something to factor in when you guys are looking at these stats, right? Because Temple's been facing easier teams, and they do lead in field goal percentage, three-point percentage, and free throw percentage, right? But again, against teams that are not as strong as the teams that South Florida has been facing. Offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding, USF leads the way, guys. Now let's look at the last 3 games a little bit more zoomed out and see a little bit more stats, guys, and this is going to give you guys a clear picture as to why I'm liking USF. Over the last 3 games, guys, offensive rebounding, they're dominating them. Along with that, too, they're generating more opponent turnovers. They're not protecting the ball as well, which is what the AI analyzer is showing us right here. Turnovers-wise, Temple is not turning over the ball as much, but to me, the main stats that matter is opponent turnovers, guys. I love seeing that stat, and right now, USF is trending upwards. They lead in most categories, guys, over the last 3 games, and over the last 3 games, they've been playing much better than Temple, guys. You're catching them at +2. I'd buy it up to +3, and here's one of the things that really stood out to me. When I saw this game, I really liked it. And I went to place my bet right off the bat. Right now, it's sitting at +2 in the Hard Rock app. I tried to buy it to +3, and the max bet was $2,600. I put it for $5,000 to see if it got reviewed, see if it got approved. 99% of the times it gets approved, it got denied. I put it for $3,000, it got denied again, guys. And now they're giving me my limit at $2,200, and here's a screenshot. So I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad. I'm not going to make a judgment off that, but that's never really happened, to be completely honest. Them denying a bet fully, even when I reduced the amount to $400 off their max, that's something that really stood out for me today with the Hard Rock, guys. And today, again, very similar to yesterday, I'll be posting the ticket in my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Telegram, guys, once it's finalized. We got another big winner for today, 2-0 today, guys. 2-0 today. That's the main focus, winning the day. We're not going to make it all back in one day. All we got to focus on is taking a small jab forward, and then a little bit of hook. And from there, we'll continue growing, guys. All right? So that's it for today, guys. Share the show, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.